Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Monday to you. We're going to take a look and see, of course, what Bitcoin is doing and how it behaved over the weekend and anticipate, hopefully, what's going to happen next. We're still in very good shape, by the way, though, of course, with this trend line holding. I'll explain more about that. And just before we get started, of course, new to your channel, feel free to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But more importantly, check out CryptoCache.tech as a website I actually have available for my current members and effectively just allows you to become a better trader. Trading Academy, trading signals, and of course an amazing community. We have weekly roundtable discussions, awesome stuff. Thanks again to our current members for just being awesome. You're all greatly appreciated. Taking a look here at Bitcoin. Now, simply put on the one-day chart, we're looking good, and I hate to celebrate the fact that we're down, of course, but we're technically not. It's a very good sign. I think this is kind of preparing for a nice shift in momentum. And what I mean by that here is, first of all, we're holding this trend line. Yes, it came below, but the bottom line is that the one-day candlestick close, which obviously hasn't closed yet, is still trending above that level, right? And what that level is here is roughly somewhere in the range about 38,000. So close over 38,000 today would be advantageous, of course. Obviously, it'd be much better to close higher than the current price point at 39, 40, 41.5. But for now, we're going to take that, right? And the main reason why is because this trend line is still continuing. When you break that trend, it's not necessarily, the sky's not going to fall because of that. But it does kind of imply that we've lost this momentous push to the upside. Because oftentimes when you get this kind of continuation pattern where the price keeps working itself into a little bit of a wedge, it eventually will break out because, again, we got this resistance here right at about 46,000, or more so importantly on the one-day close, 47,500. We can break that plane, basically the 47.5/46,000. We'll be in great shape to see 50 as probably a pretty easy achievement from there. But between now and then, of course, we got some ground to cover, so to speak. But we're effectively bouncing off of this here, and that's good. We're making higher lows still consistently. That's important. The fact that the higher highs aren't happening isn't a concern because, again, it's working itself into this wedge pattern, and the inevitability of it breaking to the upside is pretty high. Okay, again, much higher than it coming back down. All right, so that is my speculation here. Again, we have a nice candlestick close here today, and we keep trending positively upwards from here, and we retain this this channel, so to speak, this upward ascending type of channel, then we're going to be in great shape. Okay, and taking a look here, of course, the one-day chart with the RSI. The elephant in the room, of course, is that we are stuck under 50 on the RSI. It's not great, but that's very synonymous with the price action at 40,000, as well as the 50-day SMA also trending at that price range. So there's no doubt that we're going to have a little bit of turbulence between here and there. In other words, between 38.8 and 40,200 is kind of a resistance channel. We have a couple of things working against us, but we can get a close above 40,200. We'll be in very, very good shape to see a continuation of the upside. Between now and then, we might see a few more days of consolidation. It might look something like this, whereas we got, just a couple more days here, and then it might crank up middle to end of the week. Okay, but I do feel like we have more likelihood of a pullback, or a push up rather, where the price is going to pull back up to the previous price range versus it coming down and breaking down. Once again, there's a lot of factors we can't account for right now. Okay, obviously the news is a big deal. That could factor things in. That could sway it in our down essentially. But for the most part, we're looking pretty good in that sense. We do have a MACD divergence here recently, of course, but that makes perfect sense considering the fact that we're still on that downtrend and we're a few days into this here. So if we kind of look at TD sequential, we can see we're at a 4. And once again, there is possibility of hitting a 9. That does happen sometimes. Bitcoin's been pretty consistent with hitting 8s and 7s. So you see them all over the place here, which does imply that we may have 4 more days of bearish continuation or just straight sideways consolidation, which kind of is synonymous with what I'm expecting for the week too. I don't think we're going to see the price shoot up immediately. I think we're going to see it consolidate a little bit more at the current price point and effectively increase from there. And again, build that volume and then move on up. All right, so that's kind of where we're at there for the one day. Let's go ahead and look at the 4-hour. And we can see we're under both moving averages. Those are also trending closer to 41,000. So we got 40,000 as a close approximate for the 50-day SMA. And we've got both the 200 and the 50 trending at 40,800. So again, resistance channel between 40,000 and 41,500. But that's not a surprise. What is nice here, though, is we are seeing a nice convergence there effectively with both the MACD. This does imply that we should expect some kind of increase Traditionally, when the MACD, or basically the 12, intersects with the 26 in an upward fashion, specifically on the 4-hour chart, is a shift in momentum, right? So this momentum from the bears has lost its power, right? It's no longer cruising. We're now shifting this momentum essentially to allow for the bulls to take control. So that's never 100%, but I can tell you that it's fairly likely that the price will continue to trend more so upwards and or sideways based on how the MACD is converging versus the other way around, right? Now, it may not be, again, shitting to the sky, right? But we should expect to see the price, I would say, increase from here more so than decrease. Okay, again, just based on that sentiment shifting. Because again, the 4-hour time frame is important to understand. That's why I love it, because it helps you understand that transition from short term to long term. And what's happening in the 4 hour is kind of telling of what we could see on the 1 day. All right, so again, that's good. We're still under 50 on the RSI, not great, of course, but it's not terrible either because we've bounced off of 30 a few times. And if you look in its history, majority of the time, we rarely come under 30. We've only had that happen one time this year. So it's nice to see 30 hold as an RSI. That does kind of help us, continue with this upward trend. And of course, this trend that I've already drawn out previously on the 1 day that allows us to continue to push up, right? So all good stuff there on the 4 hour, except for the fact that, of course, we're under the moving averages, but that's not super important. I'd much rather have a MACD convergence and then a potential breaking above 50 on the RSI than the other way around, okay? So I would say it's more neutral, I guess, on the 4 hour, but the MACD is a nice telling sign here, okay? All right, so taking a look at the 1 hour here, of course, we can take a look and see Ichimoku Cloud not really giving us, not really giving us anything crazy just yet, but here's the cool thing. Conversion line is trying to break out, right? It's almost free and clear of any price action. And then, of course, the Ichimoku Cloud, we're about 6 hours away from that if we just go sideways. So heaven forbid we go sideways for 6 to 12 hours, we'll be in good shape there. And then, of course, this will also be free and clear of any price action at that point. So I would say keep your eye on the charts. And if in 5 to 6 hours we see a nice convergence here, or essentially a break above the cloud, which in this case just going sideways is perfectly fine, then we'd have a pretty good position to be able to have the price go up from there. So we're looking very good right there. Other than that, TD Sequential is telling us we're at a 6, and that's essentially just telling us that we could expect some consolidation to the side. We might see 3 more hours worth of continuation, but I don't expect the price to go up from here very much. All right, so again, all good shape there here for Bitcoin. I would say big picture, we got to make sure we close above 37,000. We ever break and close below 37,000, then we're going to be effectively no longer making higher lows, and that would be a problem that we want to look at later. We also need to understand too as well that we should have an increase in price here soon. I apologize, somebody's at the door. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.